So it's an interesting dynamic, an interesting partnership that I've had the privilege to observe as an outsider, neither from the state of Spain or from Colombia, but as a respected international elder and part of the IPRA community. And I think there are several reasons why this partnership is important and significant and in some ways unique, but it needn't be. It's a model that can grow and it can be used elsewhere. So one of the pieces is an institution from a colonial power, Spain, and an institution from an emerging power, Colombia, in the world today as a significant and vibrant society with all its contradictions and problems. And so the partnership there is one that I've seen of true exchange, to look at these fundamental questions of peace, the reasons why peace does not take place, war, conflict, and the causes of war. And that's not even one or two or three things, it's 10 or 15 or 100 things. And some of the ways in which we can use the knowledge from great scholars, the knowledge from great communities, the knowledge from indigenous wisdom, the knowledge from other parts of the world, not Europe or Latin America. We can use this information, again, to try to move into critical thinking and action to move towards a better tomorrow. And I think that partnership, especially from what some have called the colonizer and the colonized, from what might have been a great empire once upon a time to what is an emerging power right now, 21st century. I think that's an important model. And again, for me, coming from the US, it's a vital model, because especially at this US moment, this Trump moment, we see this desire to be an empire again, to have a second American century, and to look at what it could be for US imperialism to be triumphant again. Now, we expect, I think the whole world hopes, that that's going to fail. But part of the failure will only be a meaningful failure if we understand what US colonialism is, what it was, and what some of our own societies that we have played such a negative role in internationally can be. So, for example, there are partnerships between some, not governments, not even, I would say, major universities yet, but there are partnerships between some US academics and their counterparts in Puerto Rico, the US colony. Still a colony, one of the world's last major colonies. And it's not one of powerful to powerless. The information from Puerto Rico to US scholars is at least as brilliant, at least as vital, at least as deep, and certainly as important to understanding about peace as the US, which I think has very little to teach Puerto Rico. But there again, this Granada-Colombia connection is one where you have people talking to one another across the ocean, across the disciplines, to look at how we can collectively come to a new moment with new relationships. And I'll say one last thing. I don't think it would be correct to analyze and understand that special relationship without understanding a feminist principle, a basic global feminist principle, which is that the personal is political. Because I don't think it's exactly coincidental. And by the way, after all of my years, I've come to not really believe in coincidences anymore. But I don't believe, even if you believe in coincidences, that it is a coincidence that some of the connection between Granada and Colombia has to do with literal relationships between husbands and wives who have a foot in both worlds. University professors who are married to a Colombian, married to a Spanish, etc., doing their PhD here but living there. And that personal political connection also strengthens the ability for the kind of communication So it's not saying if you want to replicate this model, you have to go marry someone from somewhere else. But what it is saying is that when we build these kinds of institution to institution connections, we have to take care to understand the human, the personal, the relational development, as well as the intellectual development. And the fact that that's happening in this model, in this project between Colombia and Granada, between these universities, Magdalena and Granada, is a special example and worthy of support, as well as worthy of replication.